Hi everyone, welcome to English Linguaverse. We're so excited that you're here, starting your journey to improve your grammar. This is going to be the first of 12 and maybe even more videos just focused on the 12 tenses of English. Obviously you've got active voice and you also have passive voice, so who knows, we might just make video after video. There might be hundreds. But for now, we're just focusing on the 12, and this one is specifically about the present simple, the most useful tense you'll ever find because we use it all the time. You probably already know, but we use it to talk about habits, about facts, and about routines. So by the end of this video, you'll know how to form the present simple, use the present simple, and you'll really know what it means. So you'll be able to talk about so many things with this one simple tense. We're also going to have tons of examples and opportunities for you to practice in this video. So make sure that you get a pen. Let's see, do I have my pen? Get a pen, get a notebook. I don't know if you like writing in a notebook or you like writing on a tablet. I would suggest though, write. It's way better than texting yourself a note on your phone. Even though it's good, there's nothing like writing it with your hand. So again, whether it's on a piece of paper or a tablet, keep notes so that you can write down examples and pause the video whenever you want so that you can practice or repeat what we're saying. And then of course this video is here. It's on YouTube, so you can watch it as many times as you want until you feel like you've mastered the present simple. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so how do you actually use the present simple? All right, remember earlier I said habits, facts, and routines. Well, sometimes it's hard to differentiate between habits and routines. It's hard for me to do that. So I might consider I drink coffee every day to be a habit, but you could also call it a routine. For example, I drink coffee every morning at 7 a.m. Again, I would say that that's a routine. So let's forget about the difference between habits and routines and just talk about things that you do normally, you do every day, you do regularly, okay? So what are some examples? Like I said, I drink coffee every day. I wake up at 6:30 in the morning on a weekday. I wake up at 10 a.m. on a weekend. That's definitely a habit that I have. I go to work at 8 a.m. in the morning. I usually have lunch at midday, at noon, 12 o'clock. I finish work at 5 p.m. Then I go home. I relax. I eat dinner. Well, I have to make dinner. I eat dinner. I usually read before I go to bed. And then I go to bed around 10. So, as you can see there, I talked about my entire day and I only use the present simple because these are things that I pretty much do every single day. I don't usually change my habits or routines unless I'm on holiday or I have guests or something like that. But generally, always the present simple because my life is kind of boring. You know, I just do the same thing all the time. Okay, now let's talk about facts. I know people love to argue about facts, like it's a fact that chocolate is the greatest food in the world. Okay, no, that's not a fact. We might want to think it's a fact, but no, it's definitely an opinion. Some people don't like chocolate. It's hard to imagine who doesn't, but sometimes they exist. So it's not a fact. But facts are, let's think about science. The sun rises in the east. It rises in the east, present simple. The sun sets in the west, present simple, because it's always true. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. More science, more facts. We really can't argue with that. So let's think about some more facts. The earth is a sphere. There's no questioning that anymore. People used to think in the past, we're not practicing that yet, that the earth was flat. But now they know it's a sphere. It is round, okay? There are 24 hours in the day. That's just how much we have. That's it. There are 365 days in the year. Okay? The United States has 50 states. So these are examples of things that we can't argue with right now. No matter how much we disagree or don't like them, it really is just a fact. And for that, we use it in the present simple. Okay, now let's get into the form of the present simple. And we'll have plenty more examples, so don't you worry. But let's talk about how to actually create it. What's the structure? Okay, so now let's get going with the form of the present simple, okay? The form and also how it's actually used, okay? So we've got our subject first. Remember, always start with the subject. So what are the subjects? I, you, he, she, it, we, they, okay? So we've got these here, and I'm putting these together because, as you know, they all get the same conjugation. Now let's choose a verb. Let's choose eat. It's a simple one, and we use it all the time, right? So I eat, you eat, he, she, it eats. Don't forget that S. We eat, they eat, okay? And then I'm going to use red here to remind myself of the numbering system of these verbs, okay? Like in the very first introductory video, we've got verbs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got verb 1 here, verb 1. We're going to call this verb 5, verb 1, and verb 1. Why is this verb 5? Okay, it might sound strange, like why would we need something so far out? Verb 5, what? Eats? Well, it's to help you remember that you need the S. We all know how easy it is to forget it. It's one of the pitfalls of English grammar. So if you remember a different number, it might help you remember this needs to have an S, because otherwise, I guarantee you're going to forget it. So remember, verb 1, verb 1, verb 5, verb 1, verb 1. This has to be different in the present simple. Okay, now let's get into the timeline. Understanding how a verb works in time, the tense, the time of it, is the only way you're going to understand exactly how to use it, okay? So this is the past. This is the future. This is the present. They always say, stay in the present, stay in the present. It's good for you. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to stay in the present. And I'm going to put a few X's right here. And this is to remind you that this, as the present simple, is not something that's just happening right now. If it were just happening right now, that would be the present continuous or the present progressive. It's the same, different name for same thing. But no, this is a habit. This is a routine. This is a fact. So it's always true, okay? Maybe it was true in the past. Maybe it will be true in the future. But we're only concerned with it being true always and in the present, okay? So this is the time that you're covering in this particular tense. Make sure that you always work on a timeline, because it'll help you visualize why you're using the verb, when you need to use it, how it comes across in English. Okay, now let's get on to some examples. And we're going to do examples in the positive or affirmative, we might call it, the negative, and a question, okay? So let's just keep it super, super, super simple. Let's use she. She eats salad. Oh, look at me, I forgot this. She eats salad every day. Okay, she eats salad every day. How would you put this in the negative form? She does not eat salad every day. Maybe she eats it sometimes, maybe once a week, but not every day. Or maybe she doesn't eat it at all. We don't know. There's not enough information here, but she does not eat salad every day, okay? And then a question, does she eat salad every day? So here you've got three different forms in which we use the verb, the affirmative, the negative, and a question form. And what are these here? So we don't just have the main verb, which is eats, eat, eat, okay? We've got some extra verbs here, right? We've got the auxiliary does and does, because you've got to have the verb do to make it negative, and you've got to have do to make it a question. But as you notice, and you probably already have a sense of this is verb 5. Remember, I almost forgot that. This becomes verb 1, and this also becomes verb 1. So where do we get verb 5 in the negative in the question? Verb 5 transfers over to does. Okay? So does she eat? So this goes back to being verb 1 and verb 1. Okay? So here we have it. I would say give it a pause here and write these down so that you can practice them yourself with other verbs. So I also want to show you something that's a little awkward. So I was going to use the subject I when giving you example sentences because that's easiest, talking in first person. So I eat salad every day. Okay? That's fine. That makes total sense. But then it gets a little weird going on. So I don't eat salad every day. Okay, that's still fine. Totally makes sense. But then you have the question, do I eat salad every day? Honestly, I don't ever know when someone would ask this question. This really doesn't make any sense. The grammar is perfect, but unless you've lost your memory and you're trying to remember what you do every day, do I eat salad every day? I can't imagine you ever asking a question like this because you know your routine, you know what you do. So while I is a great example for affirmative and negative sentences, it doesn't make any sense in a question. So that's why I chose to do an example with she. And it also gave you more practice with verb 5. So now you know how to use the present simple, why to use the present simple, and exactly how to form it. Now it's time for some practice, okay? On the next screen, you'll see a list of sentences. These are a gap fill exercise. So pause the screen when you see them and take your time to fill in the gaps with the correct verbs. Great job, everyone. I hope you got the answers correct. I'm sure you did. But like I said, if you want to keep practicing, just rewind the video or rewind. I don't know which way you'll see me on the screen and watch it again. Watch it as many times as you want. Now let's talk about some common mistakes. With the present simple, the most common mistake is to forget the S at the end of the verb used with he, she, or it. That's why we call it verb 5. I know it sounds weird. It's like, wait, this is verb 1 used in the present simple. Why is there a verb 5? This is weird. Yes, it's weird. That's because the S is weird. You need to remember it as something different so that you remember he, she, it takes a different form of the verb. It's so easy to forget that S for some reason. And it always makes me laugh because English grammar is really easy. Grammar in other languages is super, super complex. But no matter how difficult the grammar is in another language, whenever someone's learning English, they forget that tiny little letter. I mean, it's so small, it's easy to forget. That's probably why. So remember the S. Remember verb 5 equals S at the end of he, she, or it. Okay? So present simple is verb 1 and verb 5. Okay? Another thing that I've seen a lot is people trying to make the present simple more complicated than it is, okay? The present simple is one verb, okay? You don't add verbs to it to make it present simple if it's a statement, okay? So I sometimes see students saying, I do go, I am go. No, it's just I go. I do eat. No, I eat. I am play. No, I play. So keep it simple. You don't need to add verbs to it to make it correct. I also want you to notice a few words that you'll see with the present simple. You're going to see words that tell you that it's something that is a routine. You'll see words like every day, always, never. You'll also see words like on Sundays, on the weekend, during the week, every year. So you'll see words like that that will signal that you're about to hear something that's a routine or a habit. So look for those words and also start using those words when you're talking about your own routine and your own daily life. Okay, so for this last part, I am going to read a monologue or an excerpt so that you can have some listening practice. So first listen, take notes if you want to challenge yourself. If you want to challenge yourself even more, you should listen and try to write down what you hear. This is really simple and super old school, but it is really the best way to practice your understanding and your writing at the same time. It's amazing. And all you need is a piece of paper and a pen, okay? And then at the end of that, I will share the text that I read off so that you can also practice your reading. So, every day I wake up at 6:30 a.m. The first thing I do is drink a glass of water and stretch for a few minutes. After that, I make breakfast, usually something simple like toast and eggs. I always have a cup of coffee while I check my phone for emails and messages. At 8 o'clock, I start work. I work from home, so my desk is just a few steps away from the kitchen. I usually take a short break around noon for lunch, and I try to eat something healthy. In the afternoon, I have a few meetings and finish my tasks for the day. After work, I like to go for a walk or sometimes hit the gym. In the evening, I cook dinner, watch a TV show, or read a book. I usually go to bed around 10 p.m. to make sure I get enough sleep. That's pretty much my daily routine. It's simple, but it works for me. So, how did it go? How is your writing? You can pause whenever, rewind, try again, but the next slide is going to be the text. Okay, everyone, well, that is that. So you learned pretty much everything there's to know about the present simple. You know how to form it. You know how to use it. You know why you need to use it. You had some practice. You listened to a monologue about the present simple. You read that same monologue. You know things to watch out for as well, some common errors. So I think you're probably in a pretty good place. Now it's up to you. You just need to practice, 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 because that's the only thing that'll make you perfect. And yeah, keep watching this video if you want more practice as well. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.